Hello, everyone. Thank you for letting me spend some time with you again today. I do appreciate it. Don't forget the like button, share buttons, notifications, all those good things that make it easier for people to find us, just like you did. And, if you see me looking around, it's because I'm running a one-horse show here. I got to run the computer and everything else. So bear with me. It's okay. Before I forget, because I do get reminded, the books are available at authorjerrymitchell.com, or you can go to givegod90.com and follow the links from there. Okay. Have you ever considered taking some me time? I mean, seriously. We joke about it, right? I need some me time. I need some away time. I need this. And I'm not talking about, I got to go do what I want to do. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about those few minutes that you take alone to pray or get your thoughts together, give your mind a little bit of a rest. That's important. There's a lot of things going on, and especially in the world today. And sometimes we just need to breathe, right? Now, I do it. Myra does it. A lot of people that I know who do this, they seem to be more relaxed and more focused when they are doing something. And it only takes just a couple of minutes, and not necessarily every day, but just that few minutes of being alone, not doing anything. That's important. Just a short period of time to just pray, meditate, rest, whatever it might be. And there are actually examples in the Bible about this. In Genesis 24:63, of course, Isaac goes out in the field to meditate as the servant is bringing his bride back before they get introduced. I'm not going to go into that story. That's just not worthwhile right here. In 1 Kings, of course, Elijah, he goes out and he sits down. He's like, look, and he's by himself. And he prays. He says, just let me die. Just let me die. And of course, no, it's not your time yet. Not your time yet. Daniel often goes by himself. The most famous is where he goes to his room and opens the window, and of course is heard. Peter in Acts 10:9 goes up on the roof to pray. And interestingly, Luke records that Yeshua, Jesus, frequently withdrew to the wilderness to pray. He was always going out by himself. He would go out and just kind of keep himself together. Great examples. And each of these people, they understood the importance of being alone, to pray, to rest, get their thoughts together, figure out what their next step is going to be. Now, in today's world, we actually have groups that get together to meditate, right? Oh, they sit around, and yeah, they're all in their individual spaces, right? They're sitting on their little rugs doing their thing. And that's not a bad thing, but there's a difference. There's a difference. When we're alone, even for just a few minutes, something happens in our brain that we really don't completely understand. And I'm not sure we ever will. Our brain has a chance to, and the only way I can say this is to organize our thoughts. And it files them in a way that doesn't happen when we sleep. And as important as sleep is, when we're sleeping, our brain is still busy healing our body. Did you know that? And that's kind of wild, isn't it? When you're sleeping, your brain is busy healing your body. But when we take time to be alone in prayer, even, our brain has the ability to take all of those disorganized thoughts that we have, all that jumble of stuff that's going around in our head, and it puts it in an order kind of of importance, but in a way that we can recall it later most of the time. It kind of depends on, what we hear. Our brain is always recording, right? And it files certain things, places. Other things, it files in different places, and it chooses the order of importance. And here's where I need to mention this. Even though you might work alone, even if you work alone, it's different. It's different. Doing a hobby is different because you're focused on what you're doing. We're alone and we're doing something, whether it's a hobby, work, whatever it might be, you're concentrating on that, right? Even though it's relaxing, your brain is still processing thoughts, and it doesn't have that chance to organize them like it does when you're not busy. Let's just say busy. So we're not really giving our brain a chance to do what it was designed to do, the housekeeping, if I can say it that way, right? You're putting stuff, it's put stuff away. Now, I get some good ideas when I'm out in the shop working. I can see how things fit together, and I might think, this is similar to that, right? But at the same time, when you take that time and you're not doing that, you're not focused on doing busy work, you're not focused on doing something productive, your brain has a chance to, okay, there's not a lot of information coming in, so I have an opportunity to organize. I can get the housekeeping done. I can clear off the desk. I can clear off the table. You get what I'm saying, right? I hope I'm explaining this right. I know some older folks, and they always say, I walked into that room and I could not remember why I walked in there. I went in there after something, and I got there, I just don't remember what it was. They blame it on getting older. They blame it on, maybe I don't remember like I used to. Well, what you might not realize is on your way in to that room, you're probably thinking about something else, right? I do it all the time. I need this, and I'll go to get it, and I'll see something and say, I got to remember to do that. I got to remember to do that. And when I get where I'm going, it's like, oh yeah, I came here for this. Your brain has a way of taking what is most recently important and working with that first. A lot of people can't remember. I'm terrible with names. A lot of people can't remember names. And what we're finding out is names are not as important as maybe what the person does, however you want to describe that. What is important to you, what they do, what they look like, who they might have introduced them to you, that kind of thing. It's not something we often think about today because we're busy doing other things. And our brain is constantly trying to keep up. And I know you're watching this probably on a phone or on a computer, or listening to this on a phone or computer. It's overload. And I shouldn't be saying this. The last person who should be telling you, take some time away from the screen is somebody who's on the screen telling you take some time away from the screen. But that's what I'm telling you. There's a good reason, though, that people who take that time seem to be more focused. They seem to be more relaxed because their thoughts get put where they're supposed to be. If you've ever, had that, and I do this, I used to do this quite a bit. Wake up in the middle of the night going, oh, that's where I put that. Where you wake up and you say, that's what that person's name is. Those kind of things. That's the name of that movie I was trying to think about. That's the title of that song I was trying to think about. It's because your brain's working overtime. Your thoughts weren't organized, and it's trying to organize while it's trying to heal. It's trying to do too much. When our Creator designed the human brain, okay, he created probably the second most complex system in the universe. Of course, the first complex system in the universe is he himself, who didn't need to be created. He just always was. But our brain is probably the second most complex system in the universe. And we can either allow that complex system to work as it's designed to work, and we can follow the examples we already have in the Bible, allow our brain to function the way it's supposed to be functioning, or we can try to fight against it and then wonder why we don't remember the things we're supposed to be remembering. What did I walk into that room for? What was I talking about? Oh, I'm having a senior moment? No, you're not having a senior moment. It's just the information didn't get stored properly because other things were interfering. So, don't be guilty to take that few minutes, right? And it's just a few minutes. Just relax, breathe, take a breath. Let your brain do what it does best. Right? Don't get caught in that trap of thinking, well, I'm alone in the car, so I can do it now. And you're driving, and hopefully you're focused on your driving safely, right? I hope. Because I might be out there with you, right? You're focused on something. You're doing something. Your brain can't relax and process and file the information it needs to file when you're focused doing something like that. Maybe, I need a vacation. And what do you do when you're on vacation? You go do things. Even when you're, sitting on the beach, sitting by the pool, you're watching the people around you, you're taking in information. Again, brain can't process properly with all that going on. Just take a few minutes and breathe. Think about the day. Think, pray. It's always a good time to pray, because even when in prayer, believe it or not, your brain can do what it needs to do. and don't think if you're doing your hobby, no matter how relaxing you think it is, you're still focused on that. And it's different. It's different. Trust me, it's different. But just take that little bit of time to breathe by yourself. You might be walking going, oh, that's a pretty flower. If you're thinking, oh, that's a pretty flower, or look at those clouds. and I sound like Bob Ross here, right? Just a happy little cloud. The reality is, those kind of less important thoughts. Allow your brain to file the important thoughts away. And I'm not really sure that we'll ever understand the filing system our brain uses, right? There are times I can recall conversations with people that I've had completely. Don't remember their name, but I remember the conversation. And it takes me a few minutes to get that name back. Not because their name's not important. It's just not associated with the importance of the conversation. Our brain needs the time to put things where they need to be so that we don't have a much more difficult time recalling the things we want to remember. And I hope I said that right. If things are where they're supposed to be, they're easier to find, right? Y'all know what I'm talking about. Even the folks who don't put things away, you know where they're at. So I'm giving you permission to follow the examples that we have in the Bible from the people who were successful, the people who were the most focused, the people that did the greatest things, right? So do yourself a favor and try it for a week. Just a few minutes a day. Just a few minutes a day is all it takes. Some people, they'll step out on their porch of a morning with a cup of coffee and just listen to the birds. That's how they start their day. It's a good way to start your day, by the way. Or tea, or whatever you choose. Do something different. Do something different. Give yourself that little bit of me time. Doesn't take long to drink a cup of coffee or a cup of tea. Doesn't take long to go out, look at a cloud, look at the birds, whatever you might see, that lesser important stuff. Give your brain that chance it needs to file those things away and actually work the way it's designed to work. Now, there really is something to think about until next time, right? Until then, I do wish you many, many blessings, everyone.